Hello, hello. Question and answer. It must be the first Sunday of the month. My gosh, this year is flying by. September already.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there and all you mums who are doing it on your own. As far as I'm concerned, this is your day as well.
Yep, 100%.
Awesome. So whether you're changing light bulbs, putting out the rubbish, that was very stereotypical of me, wasn't it?
Changing nappies,
Doesn't
cooking
matter.
dinner, whatever it
It
is.
should just be Parent Day. You should get 2 a year. At least.
Every day is Parent Day.
Absolutely.
Go us.
Yes. Parents rock, just saying.
They do.
They really do.
Hardest job in the world, I say.
All right. So we are here to answer questions, which is what we do on the first Sunday of every month, in the hope that anyone whose questions might have been missed, or perhaps you weren't confident enough to ask a question on a live about a different topic. For example, if we're talking about shoulders and you've got a foot problem, now's your time. Open forum.
Give it to
Let
us.
us know what
Questions.
it is that you would like me to answer, and we will do our best to do that. Some of the questions require a bit more of an in-depth answer and perhaps some props, so we might just put that on our live calendar to be able to do a proper dedicated talk on it, or do a treatment on M on it, or what have you, just so that we can show you a better visual. But if you've got anything, Eva, hello.
Hey,
From
Eva.
Sweden. Awesome. Hope you're doing well.
Loving your photos on Facebook.
Yes, we certainly are. So if anybody's got a question, shoot, fire away. Let us know what it is that's been going on with your body, or what you're having trouble with, or share some successes. We love to hear about what you've been doing with following stretches and exercises and what have you, and been getting some results, which is really good. Piriformis syndrome, Sal, that's a good one. All right, babe, I need you to slide your butt right back.
Just let me take some layers off my legs because,
Yes, breathe
chilly
in.
Melbourne and all that.
Chilly. All right, so a piriformis stretch involves crossing a leg over the top. So if Em's got a problem with her right side, sit like a bloke. You know what you're doing, right? Piriformis stretch. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Like, you know what to do.
I'm just feeling a little bit stiff,
Oh, you are.
like a bloke.
You're a bit jammed up. This is a stretch for you dads out there. Sit like a bloke.
Oh, my gosh.
So you can either do this one laying on your back, Sal, a little bit harder for us to capture that on the video, or you can do it sitting up and just slide your bottom in towards your heels. So keep the foot planted on the ground. Sorry, it's a little bit hard for you to see. Sorry, Instagram, you're going to miss out by landing on the ground. Sorry, Insta. So that you can move your body further forward. You've got to hold your body weight up, or you can literally lay down. So slide.
Check out my pants, man. Sorry, I don't normally wear these.
Slide in, which will pull on the muscle in and underneath. Piriformis runs underneath your buttock and across from your sacrum to your femur bone.
I do love this.
Great.
Feels so good.
Great stretch. This is one we should all be doing really, really tight. This muscle gets really tight quite easily. Do you want to move that case out of the way and show you how you do it laying on your back? I don't want you to lay back. Yeah. Lay on the case. All right. That's our Karen box for those of you who haven't got it. So same position, doing the figure of four, laying on your back. Slide your hand in and through the hole and then pull towards your spine. This is a really good way to get the piriformis stretching. Again, it's the leg that's crossed that you're stretching. Whenever we do these stretches, we recommend
my
use
elbow.
both.
Sorry, I just want to extend it a little bit to push my knee away
Nice.
because it feels really good.
You can do a PNF stretch like that too, so where you resist against it. That's a really good way to be able to deepen the stretch as well. PNF, proprioceptive neurofacilitation, just means that you're contracting the muscle against a resistance, like Em's elbow there. It's touch hard to see.
My elbow, pushing my elbow out, pulling my knee in.
There, so the knee's going in that way towards M.
Yep.
That way. And that resistance that applied contracts that muscle that you're trying to stretch, and then you relax it and it stretches just that little bit more deeply.
Grass, love it.
Good stretch. We should all be getting in on that
I'm
one.
going to do the other side.
Yeah, always do both sides. Even if you've got an issue on one side specifically, please make sure you stretch both sides. The last thing you want to do is loosen one side and then the other side relatively becomes quite tight. So important to do both. Hello from the UK. Wowzers. Just trying to move Instagram out the way so that I can see the comments. Oh, Insta, you're killing me. Sorry. Oops, I've just accidentally shut it. Sorry, Instagram. We broke our ring light this morning, so it's a little bit hard for it to sit where it should.
Yeah, I twisted and it just fell off.
All right, Alana, pain around the left hand that goes into the fingers that is on the outside. Depends on, talk to me about a little finger or your index finger, because it depends on which way you're holding your hand as to which finger is on the outside, mate. Be a little bit more specific on that so that I can try and help you to understand perhaps what nerve's involved if you're getting a discomfort shooting down into those fingers. All right, Christine, hi. What can be done for someone who has had a double hip replacement and on her right side, the muscle now has a tear? Oh, you're kidding, Chris. That's nasty. Keep in mind that there are different stages of healing. Sorry, I'm not in the right picture for Instagram. Sorry. If you are in the acute stage of healing a tear, it's important not to do any sort of stretching or exercise. So that's really important to be aware of where you're at in relation to your healing stages. A muscle that's been torn, if you try to stretch it, it will tear further. So you've got to be super careful of that. So if it's an acute or new injury, then I would be using the ultrasound and the Chirofix on that. That's the fastest way to heal any tear that I know of. I would also perhaps look into a practitioner that can use dry needling to be able to release the pull on that muscle. If you've got tension within a muscle that's got a tear, it's constantly that tear's being pulled all the time by that muscle that's tight. So if you can get someone in there with some dry needling, better than massage, because if you've got a tear in there, you need to take it really easy on that muscle. Once the acute phase of the tear has healed, then you will need to start to go through some stretching exercises, which I'm kind of hoping that you were doing anyway, because you've had that replacement. Once you've had a replacement, you do need to start to supple the area up with some light stretching. And that stretch that Em just did then, the piriformis stretch that Sal was asking about, that is a really nice, gentle way to start. And I mean gentle. When you've had a replacement, you have to really start gently. And to be able to bring that hip back towards your torso is a nice, gentle way to do it. And, of course, think about the muscles that cross the hip joint. So your hamstrings cross your hip joint. So just sitting with both legs on the floor and giving a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Can you just sit and do these in the background because every time I move, I'm popping out of Insta. So straight legs, bending down towards your toes, keeping your legs straight. I really just need to get out of the way. That's a good way to stretch the muscle at the back. Keep your spine upright. That gives a good stretch for the muscles at the back of the hip. Anything that any of the muscles that cross the hip joint is what you need to work on to rehabilitate a hip injury. The other, of course, is a quadricep muscle. Em will need to stand up to do that one effectively. Just watch your knee, babe. Yep. So quadricep stretch. Hold on to your foot. If you can't get to your foot like that, if you don't have the flexibility, then remember you can use a couch. I'll pretend to be Em's couch. You can use a couch which is a little bit lower than stretching. On your couch. Turn back where you were.
I was going to use your shoulder.
I sat in the right orientation.
I'm getting a little bit confused.
Imagine about this height would be where the seat of the couch is, so you can rest your foot on that. If you can't quite go down and grab a hold of your foot like Em was doing in the first place. And then I need to, let's tilt the camera back. We're going to lose Insta again. Sorry, Insta. I think I'm going to have to let go of your foot. Sorry, babe.
I'll just pretend there's a couch there.
What's really important, not having a ring light is a bit of a pain in the bum. What's really important with this bit is to make sure you push your pelvis forward, keeping your spine upright, and that will cause a good stretch in that quadricep muscle through there. So if you're not able to grab a hold of your foot, that's the ideal way to stretch the quad. Just let your foot sit on the seat part of a chair or a couch or something so that it's not bent as far, and then really push your pelvis forward and you'll feel it pull at the front. And they're the two main muscles, hamstring, sorry baby, and your quadricep that go over the hip joint to be able to help get the best recovery out of that replacement that you've had. But it is important to stretch gently, but definitely important to stretch. All right. Let's go. Can you work out how to click on the comment and get it up so that people can actually see what the comment is?
I learned something new. Which one?
All right. Let's go. Insta's killing me. Sorry. Insta.
On the other side. Oh, this one?
Sorry, Insta. We've lost our ring light, which holds our phone normally, so it's collapsing. All right. Oh, there we go.
Look at that. That's fancy.
That's Rosie. Said that she woke up yesterday morning with a sore neck and shoulder. I'm just going to show you a couple of stretches that you can do if you've got an issue with your shoulder. So I want you to sit facing the camera, babe, just as if you're sitting on a chair, kitchen chair or what have you. I'll just have to stretch my legs. Watch out for all the bits and pieces. We're going to imagine for a moment that Em has got a sore left shoulder, the side that her Dr Kez logo is on, and she's going to use her left hand to hold on to the chair that she's sitting on. If you're sitting on a couch, you can slide your hand under your bottom. It just anchors your shoulder. And we're going to use the other arm. don't mess up your hair, babe, to gently pull your ear, so your whole head, pulling the ear towards this way. You got to pull on your hair. Don't mess up your hair. But so this is stretching straight down the trapezius muscle that attaches here. This muscle can get really tight if you've slept poorly, like maybe your pillow might have been too high or too low. This is a great way to stretch and elongate the muscle from your shoulder to your ear, so that it attaches to your neck. Once you've done that stretch and held it for about 20 seconds, gently release your head. Don't ever just let go of stretches, particularly in the neck. You can actually pinch nerves in your neck. And then we're going to get Em to tilt her nose towards the side of tightness. Then use the same hand as she did before to grab a hold of the head here and pull her head as if it's going down to her right knee. So pulling, and you'll feel that stretch come further towards the back of the neck, more along this bit here instead of straight across. So more towards here. That area there is also nasty when you've got a sore and stiff neck. Holding your hand under there. If Em didn't have her hand anchored, the tendency would be for her to pull her whole body over, and then you're not getting a decent stretch. So if you can anchor that hand under to keep the shoulder in the right direction. So 20 seconds straight from ear to shoulder, and then tilt the head so that it's towards the sore shoulder, but then pull down towards the opposite knee. If you're doing this in the shower with the heat of the water beating down on your neck, you'll get a really good stretch out of this. And of course, remember, heat produces good circulation, which is a really good way to do it. And of course, if you've got your Chirofix and your ultrasound, apply the ultrasound gel and I'll start with the Chirofix and then the gel to that area and use it on the pulse setting to be able to reduce any inflammation that might have come from having a bit of a crook neck.
Feels good too.
It's good to stretch. We should all do this because we're all very good at, spending time on devices, staring down at screens and putting those muscles under strange pressures. So it is a good idea to be able to do that as well. All right, I'm just trying to have it. That's really annoying how it disappears.
That's all right.
All right, can we jump on MJM McSip? All right, this is a big question. I like it. So we've just purchased the ultrasound device and the Chirofix. My 14-year-old daughter has just snapped, grade 3 tear, 2 of the ligaments around her ankle. Ouch. This was 2 weeks ago. Currently in a cam boot. Makes sense. When can I start using the device on her ankle? When it arrives, of course. Or is it best to let her heal for longer? Which setting? Pulsed. Thank you, Michelle. That is a very good question. The answer is as soon as it arrives, get onto it, which is what I love about the fact that people who have already got their devices at home can literally use it the day of a sprained ankle on the basketball court. Really, really important.
Which I saw yesterday, just saying.
Oh yeah, we've got to talk about that. That was bad. That was so bad. So let's just dive back to Michelle's daughter, who's nastily snapped a couple of these ligaments. I suspect they are in, and maybe even a tendon. Is it just ligaments? She might have done a tendon as well. So what you're looking at doing with the ultrasound is there and designed to reduce the inflammatory response and to start stimulating the healing. So the faster that you do that, the better that it is. And of course, it will help to reduce the inflammatory response. With an ankle sprain like that, unfortunately, some of the aggravation of the injury comes after the injury has occurred. So you think that the most damage is done when you actually roll the ankle, but the swelling and the amount of swelling that can take place in an ankle injury can actually lead to further damage. It can further tear the ligaments. It can damage muscles. It can do all kinds of things as a result of sitting there for too long. So being able to rest, ice, compress, and elevate immediately, the old RICE rule that we have in an injury, is really important for those reasons, that swelling doesn't have a chance to take hold and start to create further damage than the original roll of the ankle did in the very first place. But certainly get onto it straight away. There is absolutely no detriment to doing those types of modalities as soon as it happens. Mm-hmm. Yes, for stretching and rehabilitation, we need to wait, but for icing, using Chirofix or using the ultrasound, straight away, absolutely 100%. Our daughter used it every day on her twisted ankle. She did. She was really diligent. Yep, she was excellent. Talking about Taylor, what happened yesterday? We had 2 kids in qualifying finals in basketball yesterday. Yep. Both of them came through with a win, which was very exciting. Grand final, here we come.
So about halfway through the game, one of the players on the other team, she twisted her ankle, from what I could tell.
I wasn't at the game, just saying. Dr.
So
Kez couldn't come to the rescue at this one. I
she
was at the other game.
Escorted off, as in, she had to lean on someone. But then they proceeded to put ice on it, which is, all
Excellent.
Good job. Great.
Exactly what you should do.
She's not
Perfect.
going, she's not
so
going
far,
back
so
on.
good. Tick.
Yep, she's not going back on. Hang on a minute. What's going on over there? I'm like, I hope she's going on, because she looked like she was trying to get up and walk. Then she sat down. She took her shoe off. I'm like, she's definitely not going back on.
Took her shoe off. Instantly, my
Icing.
ears are pricked up. Okay.
Yep, icing. Still 10 minutes later, icing. Shoe back on, walking up and down. I'm like, don't you dare. Don't you dare get back on. She got back on.
Oh,
She got back on. And not only did she get back on, she couldn't even stand on her foot. She's literally holding it in the air. And she sat on the court thinking she can't even stand up.
This is basketball, right? Not 10-pin bowling. This is basketball.
Basketball.
Yep, basketball.
Basketball.
Running up and down. What the heck?
By this stage, there's only a few minutes left in the game. No way they could win. They were that far behind.
Yeah. And so I'm making a presumption here. Did they not have enough players to put someone else on the court?
They had 5 players, so no subs in the whole game.
Okay,
So, they're a bit
Disadvantaged.
disadvantage,
Yep.
yes. But to what detriment to that girl's ankle to put her back on the court? And I don't know whose decision it was to put her back on the court, whether, she was saying, I really want to go back on the court, or she, there was not really a blanket rule to go, you've been iced and you're not going back on, and, we'll just see how you go, see if you can walk on it. But once you've iced,
That is
you cannot go back
so
on.
true. In fact, unfortunately, and clearly this is an example where the basketball league has not done the right thing here, but I've got to say the onus lies on you as parents and your children to understand. And I know that it was a final.
Mhm.
They only had 4 players on the court when she was off. I get all of that. But the bottom line is the health of your body and the detriment that having her go back on and potentially sprain it. And if you sprain a ligament that's already not doing anything, because your body has got to the point where it's gone, I'm in chaos mode, this ligament is not working, it's now been told to rest and recover, and you then go and try and push it and you roll the ankle again, she would have done so much damage to her ankle.
Not worth it.
That would be, this injury within itself, if it's not rehabilitated properly, which worries me given that they allowed her to go back on, could potentially cause her damage and issues in the future. Arthritis changes within the ankle, etc., that you then have long term, that you struggle then to chase your kids around the, clothesline at home because you've got an ankle issue. But you do not ever get back on the playing field after you have iced an
I could
injury.
not believe it.
I don't want any of our community to ever come back and tell us that has happened to you or your children.
Sometimes
not okay.
as a coach, parent, whoever, has to say to that player, if it's the player going, but I really want to get back on. No,
No
you
is
are
the
not.
answer.
It is okay to say no. You are not going back on.
Yeah, 100%.
So when the ball came her way, she's hopping for the ball. I'm like, one bad move, and she could be in a moon boot for like 6 weeks or something worse, anything.
long term.
Oh.
Yeah, really dangerous. So please don't do that. Really important to understand.
And I was sitting there like internally fuming, thinking, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
So I've got to ask you something. Why didn't you say anything?
I was like, I could not have been further away. But then, and plus, I wasn't sitting with any. But then I heard some of the other parents saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's good.
And I turned around and I said, I just had to. I'm an introvert. I don't normally speak. I just had to say it. I can't believe she's back on.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. Do they not understand?
Unbelievable. They would have copped my wrath if I was.
So
at
you
that
know what?
game. Don't
I
you
was
worry about it.
driving back to work thinking, how do you get this message across to whether it was the player who was insistent on going back on or
Parent,
a blanket
coach,
rule that
whoever
maybe
it
the
is.
refs have the authority to say, sorry, that's ice involved. You're not going back on because it's a
100%.
health issue. Like there's something like, or the naivety of a teenager thinking, that's not going to happen to me.
Yep.
Or I don't want to look like I'm weak or whatever it is. But they have to understand what they're actually doing to their body.
Yeah. So bad.
Oh.
You have to think beyond
And it's not
the
just
here and now
yes,
sometimes.
and how it affects, she's possibly 16 and learning how to drive. She won't be able to drive.
Yep. No, Crazy.
Little how it affects your life. I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, Range Rover. Not really, but
Yeah, I know there'll be plenty more of that rant. All right, let's have a look. Summer is experiencing tight muscles all over her body, even in her hands. I do take magnesium, but I really struggle with the tightness. All right, what can I do? My dad's the same. All right, so my first, easy fix, if you like, for this would be to get into a soul soap bath with all the 2 forms of magnesium and all the other elements and minerals that you might be lacking to be able to give the flexibility to your muscles, ligaments, tendons, etc. that you require. So that's pretty simple. You just throw a handful of the bath salts into a nice warm bath. The warmer it is, the more open your pores are and the ability of your body to really absorb that. Second thing I would suggest is please ramp up your water. If you do not have enough water in your system, I know I talk about this all the time. If you don't have enough water, the nutrition cannot get into your muscles where it needs to be able to provide the flexibility and to be able to relax a muscle contraction. Actin and myosin filaments grab together to create a muscle contraction. If you don't have the calcium and the magnesium flowing through into those muscles via water needs to be there. These are stuck and you feel tight all the time. You need that calcium, magnesium in to be able to release that muscle once the contraction is over. Super, super important.
It really makes me want to drink water.
The other thing that's really important too, and I know that we could go on about this for ages, is be careful of what you eat. There are certain foods that we consume that contribute to an inflammatory response within our body, and then our whole body feels tight, stiff, and achy. So the types of foods that I'd be referring to would be processed foods. So anything that's manufactured, like, that comes in a packet, it has the tendency to have things in it to help preserve it, to keep it together, make it look good, all that sort of stuff that doesn't bode well for our body, and our body reacts to it and creates an inflammatory response to digest it. That then goes around your body and you end up with like an arthralgia, like an achy joints all over your body and stiffness throughout your body. So please watch what you're putting in your mouth. If you can eat foods that are whole foods, so fruit and vegetables that are in their natural form,
ditch the dairy.
You'll find that you will, and that is a big one, any type of animal product has a tendency to create that reaction where the body says, this is foreign, what is going on? And it has a tendency to take extra energy to be able to digest it. And as a result, there is an inflammatory response that comes with that. So watch what you're eating, mate. So I would try that. Get in and soak in a soul soap bath. Go and make sure you drink plenty of water. Overload your system, really get the water up, and then have a go at watching what you eat and you're consuming from an inflammatory perspective. And of course, don't forget, if you've got specific ailments, get your Chirofix onto those areas and don't just do it when they're sore. I don't know how many people
I do it every day.
I forgot about that.
I normally have a sore this or that. I just part of my routine. I just put it on.
I have to be completely honest. I've put my hand up to this. I've started using the Chirofix on my knees, not because I've got an ailment, but because Em's got osteomalacia or chondromalacia patella underneath her kneecap, and I don't want that to happen to me. I love you, baby, but I don't want to share that experience with you. I will from this side, but I don't want to be in that situation. So I'm thinking, why not? It makes sense to me. I use my knees heavily like Em does, and I want to make sure that the building blocks for repair are there so that when I do little damage here and there, my body's got what it needs to be able to repair that and not allow it to develop into a condition like that. And if that's left untreated, as we said when we've been treating Em, if that's left untreated, it develops into osteoarthritis, and that is certainly a condition that you don't want to be suffering from. So don't think you can rub your Chirofix on once and get a miracle result. Chirofix provides the building blocks for repair. It's not a magic bullet. Your body requires those building blocks to be able to actually repair. So you've got to continue to provide those building blocks for your body to take them and to provide that repair that you require. Super important. So get it on 3 times a day, peeps. Get onto it. Keep using it. Don't forget about it. Too many people forget.
You have to click on the hide button.
No, I'm just going to go right over the top. How's that? All right. Did it work? Yep. Debbie. All right. Just wondering what I can do for pain in my shoulder blade. It runs around to my collarbone. Ouch. And my neck collarbone is swollen at times. Okay. Not sure if it's muscle or pinched nerve. I've had it for 4 months constantly. Well, that's a good point, trying to determine the difference between a pinched nerve in that area or just a joint issue. Pinched nerve, it has the tendency to be so excruciatingly painful, and it tends to be worse on certain movements. So you might move your neck in a particular way and it feels like you're literally getting zapped by, electrocuted by
you do the whole
Yeah,
It makes you
it's
shake.
really nasty,
Yeah.
like to the point that whereas a general injury has a tendency to be just sore all the time. Do you know what I mean? Whereas not saying that a nerve can't be pinched and compressed all the time and create that constant irritation of the nerve, but it's a different feeling. So if it is a pinched nerve, then you need to go and get onto someone to release that nerve, whether it's coming from your neck, it could actually be coming from your shoulder blade, it could be coming from your collarbone, to go in there and get the biomechanics of that sorted to make sure that there is no compression happening to the nerve. Because if that's the case, I can't tell you which way to stretch or what to do, because as you stretch, you will aggravate the nerve. So it is important to go and get that checked out. So if you're thinking perhaps it is some sort of issue with a pinched nerve, then you need to go and get it. And the fact that it's referring like that, it sounds like it might be.
And you've been putting up with it for so long.
4 months. Yeah, go and get it sorted
Yeah,
out, mate.
really do deserve to just go and get it checked.
Get it sorted.
Put yourself first, right up the top. Make an appointment today or tomorrow.
All right. What do we got here, Sal? I need to get off there so I can read it. Okay. What should you do if one of your collarbones is higher than the other at the throat level and it's very tight and restrictive of the shoulder? That's right, Sal. I'll sort yours out tomorrow. It's easy to fix. It can actually be a subluxation. So the collarbone can appear unusual when it's not sitting in the right place. So that could be something that needs to be adjusted. If it's the shoulder blade at the back, again, similar condition. You can often look at someone from behind and go, oh, one of your shoulders is higher than the other. Again, the shoulder blade or the collarbone can actually sit in what we call a subluxated position that actually needs to be treated. So in that case, there can be some tight muscles pulling on the actual collarbone, but more often than not, if all of a sudden you've noticed that there's that difference, it is actually a subluxation that needs to be treated. So we'll have a look at that for you tomorrow, Sally. All right. Anne Rigby, hello, and thank you for joining us. How often can you do cupping? What a great question.
Sure is.
I love the fact
I'm
that
just
you've got
going to
a
say
cupping,
all the time.
a cupping set at home, which means you can ask that question because, you've got the ability to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I would recommend that if you were, for example, doing the back, I would recommend that you either change where the cups are if you're going to choose to do it the next day. Some people have really tight backs that are a result of, let's say, like a weekend in the garden or something like that, where you feel like you want to give it a couple of good sessions to be able to really release everything. I wouldn't put the cups over the same cupping areas, but often when we do the cups, there's enough gap that the next time you do it, you could put a cup in the gap and then do the treatment again even the following day. But generally speaking, for an area like the back, even if you do spend heaps of time sitting or gardening or what have you, you probably only need to do it once a week to be able to get the result that you want from that. Having said that, you can treat your back and then you can treat the next day, you can treat your shoulder, and then the next day you can treat your leg. Yeah, so
calves.
You can continue to use it, but keep in mind, when we do use it, we're releasing lactic acid. Don't forget to drink your water, because the last thing you want is to start to create toxicity in your body where you start to feel lethargic and feel a bit grumpy because you haven't flushed it out of your system. So the more cupping you do, the more you release the lactic acid and other toxins, by the way. So make sure that you drink and release that out of your system, because, you drink and then you wear it out. It's a good way to do it. All right, Alana has answered me. It's her little finger. All right, Alana, I would work on, so this is your pinky here, I would be working on the muscles on the inside of your forearm, on the inside. These muscles come down and attach to the pinky. As I squash it, my hand moves. Get in there and give that a nice massage, and that will really help to release any discomfort that might be coming. You can also get a little bit of an impingement happening. I probably need to lift my arm up here. An impingement that happens underneath here. If you release that muscle, it should help to release any nerve impingements that can create issues down in that area. Having said that, there are other causes of, like a pins and needles or a pain in that area. It can actually be coming from your neck. So if working on that muscle on the inside doesn't work, maybe go and see someone, Alana, to see if you can get them to do a treatment for you. I'm going to put this one up. I can't answer this question, but I do love it. This is a question from Jody, our beautiful Jody. My question is, when are you beautiful goddesses coming to Perth?
We spoke about that this morning.
We did speak about that. We haven't set a time, but we did definitely speak about coming.
It's definitely on our radar.
It sure is.
You'll be the first to know.
Alison says after they come to Queensland. Well, that's actually true, Alison.
We are coming to Queensland.
Because we're heading to Queensland this week.
Next week.
It's actually technically this week.
week.
Do you believe in the start of the week starting on a Sunday or a Monday?
Monday. Yeah, start of the week, Monday.
Next week, because this week's nearly over. We're not going to Queensland tonight. No.
Yes, come and visit us at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival in Brisbane
Yeah, please come and join us because we don't want to be lonely.
on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it's the 9th to the 11th of September. Come and say hi.
Yeah, and if anyone's around at lunchtime, I don't know whether anyone's committed to coming at lunchtime yet, have we? On Friday?
Not sure, on Friday.
Because I might need a model that's happy to have their lower back worked on. So that would be really good if I could have that, because there is every chance that poor Em's got to stand at the stall while I go and do a talk on lower back stuff. Yeah. Okay. Anna. Oh, Anna's asked a question about a TENS machine.
We've just spent
I'm a
about
little bit
an hour
excited.
videoing, and we did a video and it didn't record. Oh my gosh.
That was so awkward. Em's like, where's the video gone? She goes, I feel sick.
It was recording, right? I know it was, because it's got this weird countdown like a racing car. Beep, beep, beep.
And then you want to, it doesn't do that last bit, but that's the bit you want to do.
Start your engines.
Yeah, so talking about TENS machines, sorry, Anna,
Sorry.
I digress. So is there anything special about using a TENS machine setting placement to wake up the inner quads? Okay, so if you're going to use a TENS machine, and I often refer to them as TENS machines, but they've got different functions, yeah, different settings or modes. I would actually use on our old machines, I'd use the EMS setting. On our new machines, which are coming this month. We're in September, aren't we?
This month.
That are coming this month.
Yeah.
I would use the Russian mode setting. That's a new.
I can't show you what's in the box.
Oh my gosh, it sounded like you said something so bad. Sally, you have to tell me whether that said what I thought it sounded like. Em just said, because if that's printed on there,
I can't show you what's in the box.
Because if it interprets
Can't
that,
show you what's in
stop
the
it.
box. Just talking about boxes and how I can't show you what's in it.
Gosh. Oh, Sal, I want you to let me know whether that's come up. I'd get you to send me a text, but my phone's downstairs, so I can't read it. So
You've
yeah.
gone red. Are you okay?
Oh, I just choked on my drink. Like
You want to see what's in my
you
box?
cannot do
I'll
that.
show you later. Just open wide. Come inside.
Are you going to show?
No, I don't show and tell. Kiss and tell. Why should I?
I thought you were going to show our new device that's coming. Which is a
No,
little
you
bit
have to
cheeky.
wait.
Okay, you have to wait. Okay, it's coming.
Should I?
Get
I'm really
onto-
tempted.
Get onto check out your emails. There's lots of cool stuff coming up, peeps. So if you're not on the email list, get onto the email list. You just jump on the website and scroll all the way down. It says join the Dr Kez Chirolab.
Yep. And then you'll be alerted before anyone else.
Yeah, you get emails on our specials and things. We've got a lot coming up this next couple of months. So
That's if we get our videos to actually record.
that would be helpful.
That would be good.
So the placement for the VMO is right over the muscle. So when we're trying to use an EMS mode on the device, you can actually grab our old machine and just the pads.
Here's our old model. Which pad? Where are the pads? Oh, I don't know where they are.
All right, grab your new machine and get your pads out.
Can you have this?
Here's one she prepared earlier. I don't need this old machine. Who wants to use an old machine? But the pads. So we've selected the pads are the same, right? So we have selected the small square pads because it gives you the flexibility of being able to use them on small muscles. If you're using the TENS machine for the purpose of TENS, getting rid of discomfort, what have you, then you just need to make sure that the area of pain is in between the two pads. So they can be separated over a joint. It can be separated so it's not along the line of a muscle. But if you're specifically wanting to strengthen a muscle, the two pads have to not be touching and they have to be on the same muscle. That's really important. So if it's for the inner thigh muscle, like what it was going on with them, you actually have to get these pads. They're relatively close together, but they need to be on the same muscle because it's, if you can I get you to stand up, baby?
Sure. Hang on, let me just sticky this back to the pad. I was just playing around.
All right. So the muscle that we are referring to, so if I can get you to stand so that sideways, but so that I can get, is the pads would have to be here and here on that. So it's almost on the joint, the last part of the belly of the muscle, and up here, because any higher up here or any higher up here at all is actually the adductor muscle. The VMO that is responsible for keeping the patella tracking effectively is small. It's just like a hand span. It doesn't go up any further. Up here is different muscle. It's a completely different muscle that does a different job. So this bit here, you have to have the two pads almost like this over the top of them like that. Don't let the pads touch and have just a tiny gap in between, but don't have one pad halfway up the thigh. You'll be missing the muscle that you need. We need the electrical stimulation to go into one muscle. So the 2 points need to be in one muscle to contract that muscle. Okay, that's really important. It's like got to be a complete circuit. So that's how you would do that for that. It's a very long-winded way to answer that. But if you haven't got a TENS machine and you're going to wait around for our new 4-in-1 that has got the Russian mode on it, then that will get this result that M needs way faster, like really, really fast. Super, super good. I'm excited. Can't wait.
I want to speed up my healing.
Yes, absolutely. Got lots of questions, man. All right. Would you come down the highway to Geelong? Rosie's asking. We're going on an aeroplane, just saying. All right.
Oh, did you have to remind me?
When do I get my Dr Kez Chirolab leggings? All right, Alison. I'm not sure what this question is, but let's read it as we go. All right. My 92-year-old dad has had a fall and smashed his humerus bone. It's day 7 now. He's in hospital. They are doing rehab. I'm going to send bone aid cream, and I bought them one of your ultrasounds, but at the moment it's extremely painful. I bet it would be. The worst part about a break in the humerus bone, and probably any big bones like a femur, for example, except that you can sit down, is that the rest of the weight of your arm, so I'll kneel up because I'm in the way of the actual question, the rest of the weight of this actually pulls on the brake. So you can't get away from it. Do you know what I mean? I know that they try to put things in a sling, but even pulling up on this pulls up on the bone. It's horribly uncomfortable. It's really, really painful. So using a TENS device, if they've got one or if you've got one, Alison, sounds like you might not be where they are by the sound of things if you've sent them something, is a really good way to help just mask that pain. So the TENS, there's that one area where the break is that's being sent pain signals to the brain all the time. If you put the TENS machine over the top of that, it will feel the TENS sensation rather than the pain of the break. So certainly something that would be beneficial for them in the meantime for him to be able to get through this painful part because, yeah, it's awfully painful. But what you've sent is perfect. Don't forget the trauma relief cream because there will be trauma in that area. So whenever there's a broken bone or trauma like that, if it's a fall or what have you, there will be inflammation. There will be damage to vessels, etc., that need the Chirofix or trauma cream. They're both the same thing, right? One's big and pumpy and the other one's small and portable. All righty. What have we got here? Helen, I had a tear in my plantar fascia. It took a long time to heal, over 12 months. Oh, yoked. I feel I have scar tissue built up around the tear. What can I use to help this? Ultrasound, will that help? Yes, it will. So, oh, sorry, beautiful. It's dark here and like your black leggings disappeared on me. All right, so we would be using 2 things. One, I would get onto the spiky ball because the spiky ball is really good at being able to help break up adhesions and any type of scar tissue that can happen in that area.
Make this your friend.
Once you've done that, so that's first. Once you've done that, then get onto your ultrasound. But there's a trick. With the ultrasound, I'm going to suggest that you do 2 different settings. One being the pulse setting that we always talk about to reduce inflammation and to help the healing if there is anywhere else in that area that needs to be further healed. Often with scar tissue, it tightens the muscle. So we want to be able to help keep that nice and elongated. So I'm hoping you're still doing some stretches. And then the next setting or the next time that you do the ultrasound, use it on the low continuous setting to try and help break up some of that scar tissue. So that would be a good way to be able to help work both of those avenues in that particular area. And being under the foot, you won't need to do it for more than 2 or 3 minutes. You won't need very long on it. It's just the painful part of having to take your sock and shoe off to be able to get it done and then move on to whatever you got to do next. So yeah, please get onto that. Stretching and rolling on the ball would be a really good way to help break up those adhesions, and then using the ultrasound will help anything that flares up as a result of doing that, as well as breaking down the adhesions. Use the ultrasound on those 2 different settings.
Whenever you feel like coming back, just jump straight on it. It's just so good.
Yeah, it is good. Sorry, I'm having trouble.
Good afternoon, Karen.
Okay, Summer, another one from Summer. Thank you, Summer, for your questions. I also get cramps in my hip flexors and have weakness there too. What can I do about it? Baby, you're not going to be allowed to do this one. I'm going to have to do this one. Gosh, I'm going to get up and make an effort myself. This is a bit of a worry.
I'm just going to sit back and watch.
All right, hip flexor stretch. Can I get you to modify the camera so that we can actually see what I'm doing?
Sure. I can do it, but I just can't kneel.
You really can't. Just watch out for the phone. Oh, you're clever.
Just can't see your head.
All right. Yeah, don't worry about my head. It's not relevant in this case. So hip flexor stretch is being able to lock the knee down onto the carpet or a soft surface of some sort. You can do it on a bed if you choose to. Big lunge forward with your leg. Don't do a small one and lean your knee over. That is going to cause damage to your knee. Your knee must always be behind your toes, okay? Lunging forward. I'm not kneeling on my knee. I'm just hooking it into the carpet. Keep your body upright and then push your pelvis under. This will stretch your hip flexor on the side that your knee is back. Nice big stretch. Lean your body back, sort of C-shape your spine, and that will stretch your hip flexor. And of course, don't forget, always do both sides. A bit harder to see on this side.
Such a good stretch. It
It
feels
is
amazing.
the best. If you spend lots of time sitting, this is the stretch for you.
And totes jelly.
Don't forget, after about 20 seconds, take a big deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, you'll find that the stretch will go just that little bit further. Really good one for the old hip flexor. G'day, Karen. Howdy, howdy. Rosie's saying thank you. You're very welcome. Just trying to work out. Hide. Rightio. What's next? Hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Hello, Jess. Naomi's on. That's awesome.
Good job, Eva. Using your Chirofix every day. So good. Me too.
All right, Doreen. What do we got, Doreen? All right. Is it okay to use ice packs on the burning with irritable bowel? Maybe a diverticulitis attack feels like it. Drinking extra water all day. All right. I'm going to say no to that, Doreen. The reason being, we're trying to increase the blood flow in that area. If you're trying to get movement through your bowels, I know that it's an inflammatory condition, which is why the ultrasound would be fine. But icing an area restricts blood flow, really good for an acute injury, not so good for something like this when we're really wanting to keep blood flowing to that area for healing. So I wouldn't. The 2 things I would use would be the ultrasound and possibly the new machine that nobody's got yet.
What's in the box?
The TENS machine, the new 4-in-1 TENS machine that we have got has also got an interferential feature, one of the other features that's new, which gets in really deeply and can really help with any really deep pain. So abdominal pain, pain of endometriosis, diverticulitis, lumbar disc pain at the back or what have you. It actually penetrates a lot deeper to give that masking of pain feeling as well. But I wouldn't use ice, mate. I don't think that would be a good thing for your bowel function. Alrighty. What do we got here from Summer again? Thank you so much. Yes, I don't eat gluten or much dairy and stick to whole foods as much as possible. That's great. I struggle staying hydrated, so working on the water and coconut water. Excellent. Good, good, good. Eva uses her Chirofix every day. Love it. So good to hear from you, Eva.
You don't mind coconut water, do you?
Yeah, coconut water's got a lot of nutrition, like magnesium, calcium. Really, really good. Em's not a fan. It's too sweet.
Oh, no, just the flavour. It's so weird, but you know.
All right.
It's good for you.
And I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm on the waiting list to see a surgeon, I presume that is, to most likely have my right ankle fused or replaced. Had x-rays done. It's mostly bone on bone. Any recommendations? Got the ultrasound. Love my trauma relief, and I have bone aid. Okay, so you've got the very things that you need, Anne, to help with this particular condition. So bone aid on, Chirofix on, or trauma relief cream, get those onto that area, and then use the ultrasound on the pulsed setting to be able to assist with relieving the inflammatory response, as well as driving those active ingredients of the bone aid and the trauma cream deep to where they need to be able to start to help the healing process, so that we can repair some of the articular cartilage that is in between there that sounds like it's completely lacking if they've diagnosed it as being like bone on bone. So one of the other things that I find really helpful with anything, whether it's a knee joint or an ankle joint, is to try and distract the joint, not trick it to not think about what's happening, because you can't do that. That's not what I mean. When I say distract, I mean open the joint. So if you were to sit on a bench, for example, you shouldn't really sit on the bench. It's a bit unhygienic. But if you were to do that, and the reason I mentioned the bench is because you're not going to touch the floor like you would if you're sitting on a chair or a couch. It means that your leg can hang freely. So you're sitting on there. As Em said, put a bag around your foot and hang a milk, 2-litre milk container in that, so that it is hanging off your foot, literally hanging off your foot. So your thigh is holding your knee in place, and literally that whatever weight it is that you put is pulling your ankle away from what we call the mortise joint. That is a really good way to open things up. It increases the flow of whatever your body requires, nutrition, as well as the synovial fluid, as well as all of the products that we've just mentioned in the bone aid and the trauma cream, getting into where they need to be able to get the best result that you possibly can. Open that joint so that the healing can start happening on the undersurface. If you can do that 3 times a day, you will find that it will make the world of difference. Don't forget, though, to keep using, I know you'll be using the ultrasound probably once a day, but keep using the bone aid and the trauma cream 3 times a day, as well as doing the one with the
Make it part of your morning and
make it a
routine.
part of your routine. Yep. Really important. But yes,
like brushing your teeth.
Spend time hanging with your foot hanging down off the thing. It works really well. That very same thing will help with knee pain as well. It distracts the knee as well. It works for both. So really good to be able to just distract. We should all, Sal, this is our next invention. We need to get a distraction unit that pulls all of our joints open, spine included.
You just get 2 of your kids. One can grab your feet.
One can grab your head or your arms and stretch us open, because we spend the entire day with gravity compressing all of our joints. And as a result, we end up with bone on bone. We know exactly why it's happening. And we have to stretch to try and prevent this from happening. So, it's just another invention. I think that'd be a killer on shipping though, babe. It'd cost a fortune. Anyway,
pick up
like a torture device. Pick up only. All right. Oh, Anne was adding to that. When I overdo it, my ankle goes weak and I can't bear weight on it. Yeah, time to get the joint functioning well. And once you've got the function right, we can start to strengthen it after that. There is a very specific sequence with which we have to treat certain conditions. Obviously, like the tear we spoke about before, it's important to reduce that the tear and start the healing process before we then start to stretch. But at the same time, you don't want to not stretch, leave it 12 months to stretch, because otherwise scar tissue forms. So it's a very specific timeline, which is when you do a big injury like that, it's really important to go and see a practitioner, because they will keep you on that timeline. Right, now it's time for you to start stretching, and these are the stretches you can do. Great, now it's time to start strengthening, and these are the strengthening exercises you can do, and you follow the pattern with them so that you get the fastest result. Really important. And after you've been to Canberra, all right, we've got a lot going on here.
I used to holiday in Braidwood. It's a really nice part of the country.
Christy's saying her lower back's out of whack. All right. Can't wait for the new TENS machine, Jody says. Sally, if you have pain in the front of your shoulder joint, sorry, I need to put it on the thing, radiating into the chest, where would you place the TENS pad, or would the ultrasound be better? These are friends' issues, not mine. Excellent. I was starting to create a list, Sal. I'm like, wow, we've got a lot to do tomorrow. We might have to extend this appointment. No. All right. So pains at the front of the shoulder joint and it's radiating into the chest. Where would you place the TENS pads? You can use TENS or the cupping unit, Sal. So that's a great one for cupping. I've got some great photos from Sally of these like health parties, cupping parties that they've got where everyone cups each other. If you can just get up a little bit higher so you're above the words, just watch your knees. You shouldn't be kneeling on your knees, baby.
Anything for you.
So the pectoral muscle comes and attaches down in this sort of feathered out pattern through here. So you can place the 10s, one on either side here to be able to reduce the discomfort, or if it's right in the shoulder, put one of the 10s pads on the point of the shoulder, because then it will cover the joint pain as well. And the cup right on that spot. Man, I'm telling you, if you guys have got a cupping set, have a go at this one. Get your cup and put it right on above the breast, obviously, but in between your shoulder and pretty much shoulder and nipple, I could say. Some people's nipples might be down here, but where the
Maybe
Dr Kez
mine.
Chirolab logo is, not that you all have one of those, but right in that sort of pocket area,
How's that?
and even slightly closer to the armpit. Oh my lordy, you will know all about it.
A bit smaller.
It is
Or
a
downsize.
ripper. No, I reckon this one. Go with
Reckon?
is that a 3? Yeah, go with a 3. You're going to do it?
I'll try it.
Oh, this is great. We're going to have a look at the end's face. It's a little bit hurties, trust me, and it
Oh.
gives some amazing cupping kisses.
Maybe I can't. I haven't got the oil.
Oh, it's up the top, baby.
Oh, gosh.
Damn it, she said.
Smells so good.
All right.
Oh, I'm a bit dressed.
Yeah, it's a bit hard
Maybe I
with you.
can't
I
do
don't know how you're going to do it, but anyway.
How's here?
All right, one more question.
How's that?
Yeah, good. How's that feel?
Bit tight.
Is it nice? You're going to ruin your top. Let that top
No,
go.
it's
Over the
okay.
top. Let go.
That's going to make it look like I've got a
Extend
weird
the
looking.
nipple. Oh, have you got it over your... How many clothes? Yeah, okay. End's dressed for winter. All right, sorry. Joanne, our final question, folks, because we've got to go and do some order packing now. Hi, my friend has Dequivane tenosynovitis. Do you have any recommendations, please? Yeah, this is a bit of a nasty condition. I would be using the ultrasound. I'm not going to do it on myself because I've got too many bands on. I'm going to just borrow your arm.
Sure. It needs to be plugged in. This is just demonstration purposes.
Oh, yeah.
only.
So for those of you who have got an ultrasound, it needs to remain plugged in. Yeah, just in case. We've had a couple of people say, it doesn't work after I've charged it. No, that actually needs to remain plugged in because it's a powerful device and it actually needs to continue to draw power. Otherwise, a battery would die instantly because it's, yeah, sorry, I probably shouldn't say that word on Facebook. But anyway, all right, so this is the tendon that you're trying to help heal. So putting on the Chirofix on this area and do it right through this bit as well as where it's really sore. And then you have to use quite a bit of gel in this area because it's a bit bony and undulated. So the idea of putting the gel on is so that the sound waves can penetrate through the skin. When you've got an area that's got lots of little bones, let's say if you had pain on your knuckle, for example, you have to put quite a bit of gel on to keep the head of the device sort of in contact with the skin, and then keep moving it up and around that area. Sorry, cold.
It's really cold.
To be able to make sure that it covers that whole area. And of course, it has a gel on, it's plugged in, all of those things, and put it on the pulse setting. That would be the best way to recover that. If you don't have the ultrasound, just keep using the Chirofix. Keep using the Chirofix. All right, folks, I hope that has helped to answer a few of your questions. We do appreciate you sending us your questions. We get some people that send them to us in advance and some people that add them to posts and others that join us on the
We
live.
love
So
all your questions.
we love it. We really appreciate it. And I'm hoping that, what have we got going on this week? I don't even.
I've got to mention one thing. I don't know where my phone is. Oh,
It's
never
there.
mind. It's there.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to know if anyone guessed who was in the Father's Day photo. Actually, I put it in the group. Forgot about that.
Yeah, did anybody get our email? Happy Father's Day email. I'm just going to dive down to the new comments. Did anybody get their Father's Day email this morning? That Em did the naughtiest, sneakiest thing ever.
I gotta find a photo.
If you
No,
guys,
it was meant to be because I open up. I'm like, so many albums and oh my gosh, and I open it up and like I just flicked a page and I'm like, it's perfect. And I've gone, who's the random dude? And I'm like, oh my god, it's your dad.
unbelievable.
I just,
Em went through one of my private albums and took out
nothing's
a
private in our
photo
house.
of me wearing the most embarrassing tracksuit. Pink parachute. I love that tracksuit back then. I have got long curly hair. So if you haven't been in the private page to see the post that Em put on or checked your emails, please go and do that because, everybody can have a laugh at me. I don't mind. How
Just look at it and you
embarrassing.
just go, oh my god.
I don't think
I
you
did
can
that
tell
when
it's
I'm-
me.
It was more your dad. Oh my god. It wasn't even when I showed.
Yeah,
one
I'm
of our
not the only
kids.
one with long hair in that
Taylor's
photo.
looking at it, she
Shares
goes,
pretty
oh
well.
yeah. And she's gone, oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's really bad. Oh, Karen says, yep, she sure did. Yes. Okay. Yep. Oh, excellent. All right. I'm glad you hope you all had a good laugh at that. That's my
I thought
embarrassing photo for the year.
I might even use it
hopefully.
next year again.
No, don't you dare. I'm going to see if I can find an embarrassing photo of you on Mother's Day or something, you know. It looks exactly like, really? Does it? Do you reckon it does?
If you put the pink parachute on, I'll let you know. Yeah, I think it does a bit.
Oh, I still look 12. That's good. So that's what I'm taking from that, Alison. Thank you very much for that compliment. Much appreciated. What did you think of me with my permed hair? It looks great,
Yeah,
didn't
that's
it?
good. Rocking it.
Oh, so embarrassing. I think I'll stick to the shaved head look. I think it looks much better. All right, folks, thank you again for joining us. We love our first Sunday of the month chats with you guys. We will catch up with you guys on Tuesday for a treatment Tuesday. I'm sure Em's got some ailment that we'll be treating on Tuesday. And then we will catch up with you on Wednesday as we normally do. But this week, because we're going to Brisbane for the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, things will be a little bit different. We'll be throwing a few lives out to you spontaneously. I think we've mentioned this before, over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So don't rely on us being there at 10 a.m. because we probably won't on Friday.
Just when the doors open, we'll try.
Yeah, just because we tried to commit the first time. This is one of our learning tools to doing lives at regular times and letting you know what we were going to talk about. And it meant that I had to cut people off when I was communicating with the people that actually turned up in person. And I don't want to do that this time. So we will do our best to throw a few lives out here and there to try and keep catching up with you guys who can't be there. But if you're in Brizzy or, you know, around the Queensland area, please come and visit us. We want to put faces to these names. I've got all these little pictures and icons of people. And I'm like, I know you're not a dog typing and texting these words, so you must be a face behind that dog's icon picture. Come and visit us so that we can actually meet you in person, because that's what makes us happy. All right, thank you again for joining us, and thanks for having us on your therapeutic journey.